Yeah, BHP launched an all-share bid for Anglo American today, $39 billion transaction. My suspicion is, first of all, there's going to be a counteroffer. I don't think 39 billion wins it, although it's a substantial premium over where Anglo was trading. It was not too long ago that, like 2.5 years ago, where Anglo was sort of an investment darling with a $50 billion market cap. A series of missteps and an ongoing concern about South African politics has resulted in a 50% share price decline in Anglo American, and hence BHP's bid could be regarded as opportunistic. Some of the nuances of the bid are worth considering. The first is that BHP, in addition to offering $39 billion, is asking Anglo American to spin off the South African assets to shareholders. Which is to say the steel assets, the coal assets, those assets in South Africa would be spun off to shareholders, which will tell you something about the low esteem that global investors have now for South African assets and for the political leadership of the ANC government. The offer itself arguably is about the South American copper assets of Anglo American. Anglo is opportunity rich with some big legacy mines, but they're cash poor. They don't have the internal ability to develop all of the opportunity that they have in South America simultaneously. Virtually everybody you talk to would suggest that ex a recession, the world is going to be in pretty extreme structural shortage in terms of copper supply 5 years from now. BHP sees a unique opportunity to employ their robust free cash flow and their pristine credit and their wonderful balance sheet to bring the copper assets of Anglo American into account fast enough to deliver into the supply deficit that virtually everybody sees occurring. This is interesting as a validation of the copper thesis. First of all, this is a $39 billion bet on copper. This is also flying in the face of my own caution about the deteriorating nature of Chilean politics. Most of the copper assets that BHP would be buying from Anglo are in Chile. And despite what I see as the deterioration of the politics in Chile in many regards, I think what Anglo is saying is that what BHP is saying is that those political risks are worth taking because the assets are so extraordinary, and from their point of view, the copper market is so attractive. There are other things that I think junior investors need to think about separate and apart from the transaction and what it says about the copper price. These acquisitions always result in market turmoil, and market turmoil is always a good thing for people who take advantage of it. As an example, if BHP succeeds with a bid in Anglo, there are a bunch of exploration assets and development assets in Anglo that won't make the cut for BHP. In order to be germane to BHP, an asset needs to have at least $10 billion in in-situ recoverable reserves and resources. Anything that doesn't fit into that threshold is likely to be sold. At the same point in time, because of the larger scale of the resultant company, there are probably some assets in BHP which will be sold too, because BHP recognizes that they don't have the time and attention necessary to beneficiate those assets, and they have higher and better uses of capital developing these copper assets that they would have just bought for $39 billion or some number like that. The second thing I think that happens, in addition to properties becoming available, is that people become available. You reduce the general administrative expense of the combined company relative to the assets under management by reducing expenses. And one of the key expenses is people. There will be duplicate people in a lot of operations. There will be discontinued operations, and those people will become redundant. I remember that one of the unsung reasons that Vancouver emerged as such an incubator of junior resource companies was the takeover of Placer Dome. When Placer Dome got taken over, the Vancouver-based technical staff, about 100 of them, were thanked and excused. And the Placer Dome diaspora, the people that were released when Placer Dome was taken over, many of whom went on to generate tremendous amounts of money in the junior space. And I think whoever takes over Anglo, you will see a tremendous release of talent coming out of both Anglo and the acquirer. So I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity in the next 5 years in the junior space as a consequence of the amalgamation wave that we're seeing in the senior space. And I can't wait to play the game.